Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And here lately, especially on the local news in St. Louis, there's been a lot of talk about the Metro Transit system. And I want to bring up a couple of topics and give some comparisons to the St. Louis transit system and the Chicago and New York transit system. And typically, in many of your major cities, you have two forms of public transportation. Here in St. Louis, it used to be called the Bi-State Bus. I think it's called the Metro now. And you have the Metro Transit System. In Chicago, you have the the Chicago Transit Authority, which is the bus line. And then you have what's called the L, which is their local train system that takes you all around the city into some parts of the suburb, just like the Metro Transit does in St. Louis. And of course, the third one is the New York subway. Of course, they have a bus line and then they have a subway. So for many people that don't want to drive or don't have vehicles, you have a few ways that you can get back and forth to where you want to go, whether it's the Metro Transit in St. Louis or the Metro bus line, cab, Uber, things of those nature. But here in St. Louis, what we've been finding out is that even though it's inexpensive and it's pretty convenient, there are certain levels of danger that are taking place on these transit systems. We have a lot of people with mental illness, stressed out, a large homelessness, an opioid crisis is taking place throughout most of our major cities that you hear me talking about all the time. I'm going to inundate you with those three issues because they have been a major problem and a boiling point in our American cities. And just when you think that you're beyond the zip code for any of those issues to affect you, then they will come knocking at your door. There are a lot of people in the St. Louis area that live in the county or the suburbs that will park and then they will catch the Metro link to the St. Louis Cardinals games. Well, with the large abundance of homelessness, joblessness, mental health issues, you have several people that have been assaulted, robbed, things of those natures coming back and forth to sporting events to the city. Same thing is taking place in Chicago, going to a Cubs game, a White Sox game, a Chicago Bears game. The Chicago L system can be very dangerous at times, and especially at night. You will find people that are asleep on these Metro transit systems, L's, New York subways. They will spend the night there. They will do drugs late at night on them. And there have been several assaults and robberies. Of course, in New York, their subway is underground. And there have been several assaults and even murders. One in the last few months where a gentleman put a guy in a chokehold and killed him. You've had a judge here in St. Louis who was wheelchair bound, a municipal court judge who was assaulted, had a water bottle thrown on him, and was assaulted on the St. Louis Metro Transit system. So the big question is, especially in St. Louis, should they have more police or police involvement on canvassing and protecting the Metro Transit system? And the answer is yes. We've had several people at the DeBoliver stop, the Forest Park stop, that have been shot and killed. The Hanley stop that have been killed. And so for it to be a easy transportation access for people to move around the city, there have been some disturbing criminal activities that have taken place. And this is why you see a lot of suburbia America that does not want the Metro Transit system to go all the way out to St. Charles or St. Peter's or some of these other outlining areas in St. Louis, in Chicago. Uh, they generally have a tendency to stop at a borderline towards the city line, towards the end of the city line. And to be honest with you, suburbia has a point. There are a lot of things that are taking place in our inner cities that the crime rate can be somewhat higher. You see, like I said, a higher level of homelessness, opioid addiction, people with mental health issues, and criminal activity taking place. And we, as citizens of America, and the politicians and the local authorities need to get a grapple on it. St. Louis is down. St. Louis City is down 300 police officers. St. Louis County is down 130. That's like 430 police officers. Chicago is down about 800 officers. And we need to hire more police officers. There needs to be more police officers on these Metro Transit transportation vehicles. People have to have a certain level of safety in order to participate and be active in using our transportation systems in these cities. So yes, we need more police officers on the streets. We need more police officers on the Metro Transit. We need more police officers on the Chicago L. We need more police officers in the New York subway. People, it's a public safety issue. And the American tax-paying citizens want to be able to move around in their cities under a certain level of safety and security. So this needs to be at the forefront of the mayor's office in St. Louis, in Chicago, in New York. We're going to now have an influx of migrants that are going to need assistance and help in most of our cities. In New York, which is a sanctuary city, in Chicago, which is a sanctuary city, and now St. Louis is saying they're going to accept migrants here also. So we already have a ton of dilapidated, immoral, unethical behavior that's taking place. A gentleman just got shot yesterday afternoon at the Metro Link in downtown St. Louis, which does not bring very good media or a positive look on the city, and even for tourism, people that are visiting these cities, they may not rent a car. If you're visiting Chicago and you want to go to in downtown Chicago and you want to go to a Cubs game, well, it's real easy to catch the L to the northwest side and go see a Cubs game and then come on home. It's the same way in St. Louis. If you're staying in a hotel in the county and you want to see a Cardinals game and you're worried about parking and all that stuff, catching the Metro Transit is an easy access transportation way of getting to and from the county to the city to the county. And safety is of utmost importance. I've been on the Metro Link, I've been on the Chicago L and the New York subway, and I've been on the CTA bus line in Chicago, the Metro bus in St. Louis. I do have a vehicle, but I've caught those things before, and it is a dangerous scenario. You have people talking to themselves, you have people bothering other people. I've been witnessed to several close calls on potential altercations with patrons on the Metro Transit, on the bus, most definitely in Chicago, which is the third or fourth largest city in America, the more people that you have in a small area, the higher propensity there could be for an altercation. And we need to have more officers on these transportation places to mediate, to mitigate, and to dissolve any potential harm that can be taking place by any of our citizens in these cities. So the more people that are talking about it and making our metro transit system safer is very important. So I'm a 100% advocate for increasing the police force, not defunding them. We need to have more police officers on our transit systems, walking through them, being visible. That has a tendency to decrease criminals with the opportunity to want to commit a crime if they see officers in their presence in New York, in Chicago, in St. Louis. As I said, there have been a few, one too many, gun incidences, assaults, robberies that have taken place on our metro transit system, and that needs to change. We need to have a healthy, viable society that's sustainable. We're losing our young people each and every day with dilapidated and inept schools, single parent households. We're not manifesting our truth in a positive and God-fearing direction, and all that needs to change. So the public safety of our metro transit, our L in Chicago, our New York subway, our metro bus lines in St. Louis, our CTA bus lines in Chicago, need to increase its level of safety for its American citizens to be able to travel to and from in a healthy and positive way in order to have a decent experience for events, for sporting events, for concerts. It is going to hurt our tourism if people around the world, around this country, realize that our public transportation systems are dangerous and can be harmful just going to and from an event. So that needs to be at the forefront of our politicians and our local leaders to make sure that we hire more police officers, more security guards that can have a weapon, that can deter and mediate and mitigate any kind of potential harm that can be caused from one citizen to another. So let's manifest our truth in the right direction. If you like this commentary, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and please share this information with people you find it to be informative.